Good morning. I'm Dr. Tripthi Mathew from Alpha and Omega Healthcare Management Consulting. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to present a lecture workshop. At the end of my lecture presentation, I've highlighted some of my professional experiences and academic accomplishments. So I will not go into details, but you can read about it and my company at your leisure. I've chosen leadership as today's class topic after reviewing the MBA curriculum that I was sent. This is an introduction to the topic of leadership for both undergraduate and graduate level students, which can be taught online for 3 credits and over 4 hours or on site for 4 hours. This lecture workshop is interactive and consists of online videos, slides, a short quiz to test the material covered in the lecture, a discussion of some common debated questions, a case study on Southwest Airlines as written assignment or exercise, and an Harvard Business Review article as reference and for further reading. I would like to walk you through the organization of my lecture workshop. After introductions, I would like to go over the learning objectives, then define what is leadership. We will then identify what are some qualities of a good leader and watch some YouTube videos, including those with a Christian worldview point. After that, we will find out the difference between a leader versus a manager. I will then give you a brief overview of leadership theories, which will lead us to the next topic of types of leadership. Then you can watch a short video on rules of leadership, which is followed by a short quiz to test your understanding on the theoretical aspects of leadership. For the purpose of today's lecture, it is very short, only 3 questions. In the real online environment, please anticipate at least 10 questions. After completion of the quiz and checking our answers, we will move into the practical aspects of leadership, that is, assessing leadership skills. I will touch base on 2 leadership skills in inventory mentioned in management literature. One is in your handout folder and the other as an article for further reading. This will lead us into the 2-page case study on Southwest Airlines, where we will apply the concepts learned on leadership. I want you to watch the lesson of the flying geese on leadership and teamwork, and then I'll summarize what we have covered so far. Then you can see the references I've used and further resources, books, etc. that I recommend. You're welcome to ask me questions. Email me with any comments or questions you have. My contact information, background, and company information is provided at the end. Please write down in your handout. Number 1. The students participants of this lecture presentation will be able to define what is leadership. Number 2. The participants will be able to understand the difference between a leader versus a manager. Number 3. The participants will be able to identify some qualities, characteristics of a good leader versus a lousy bad leader. Number 4. The students participants will become aware of some of the common leadership theories present in management literature. Number 5. The students participants will be able to describe some types of leadership. Number 6. The students will be able to apply the concept of leadership to a case study. So what is leadership? There are many definitions of leadership. I'm going to highlight some of the common ones that I like and is out there in the management literature and from a Christian worldview point. Peter Drucker, the father of management, defines leadership as the lifting of one's vision to higher heights. Causes and Posner defines leadership as the art of mobilizing others to want to struggle for shared aspirations. This I've taken from the Johns Hopkins University Mid-Atlantic Health Leadership Institute, where I was a scholar for a year. Can you relate in your own words, from knowledge of the Bible and experiences, what is leadership? I'll post this question as a discussion in the online environment for students to post their thoughts. I will then reply to the posts of the students, post my thoughts, and post the YouTube video from the Texas Student Leadership Forum, which I am going to show you in a few minutes. Does anyone want to volunteer to answer this? There is no set standard or definition, so please don't be shy. To me, leadership is the ability to lead people through one's vision, example, be a model, and to transform their lives in a positive way for many years to come. In the Bible, Jesus calls his disciples to become fishers of men, not fishermen. Matthew chapter 4 verses 19. Then he said to them, "Follow me and I will make you fishers of men." King James Version taken from the BibleGateway.com. Jesus had the vision and he led by being a role model to his 12 disciples and changed the lives of many people and is still doing so. Now let us view a 3-minute video from the Texas Student Leadership Forum, which I liked and I will post in the online environment for students to view. After watching it, post your comments. What did you think of it? Was it inspiring? Was it motivating? Please write down in your handout what you think are some of the qualities of a good leader. I'll give you 2 minutes to think and write. Okay, now I will highlight some of the top 10 characteristics of a good leader that I think. A good leader shares a common vision, goals and objectives. A good leader is intelligent, is an expert, or is knowledgeable. A good leader is a good listener and is empathetic. He/she communicates well. A good leader motivates others, involves and empowers others. He/she is brave, bold, or courageous. They're honest and optimistic or positive. He/she makes good decisions, can admit failure, and knows when to change direction. Here are some videos on YouTube that I liked, which mention some characteristics of a good leader. Now I will click on the links to watch these videos. In the online class, I will post the links to these YouTube videos. After you watch these videos, please tell me what differentiates a good leader from a great leader. According to the classical Harvard Business Review 1998 article by Daniel Goleman, in this article, What Makes a Leader, from his book on emotional intelligence in 1995, he states that it isn't IQ or technical skills, but emotional intelligence, a group of 5 skills that enable the best leaders to maximize their own and their followers' performance. This is what distinguishes great leaders from good ones. The emotional intelligence skills are self-awareness, knows about one's strengths, weaknesses, drives, values and impact on others. Self-regulation, to control or redirect disruptive emotions or impulses. Motivation, being driven to achieve for the sake of achievement. Empathy is to understand others' emotions. Social skill is to build rapport with others, to move them in the desired directions. Daniel Goleman describes how one can develop these skills in this article. So I suggest if you are interested in learning more, read this article which is in your folder. What are some characteristics of a lousy bad leader? Being negative, pessimistic always, not supportive of staff, being dishonest, someone who finger points on his or her staff employees when the employee is not at fault, inability to motivate, someone who is incompetent, not an expert, and does not delegate tasks evenly, a person who is unable to take risks and cannot make decisions or admit failure. These are some characteristics. Can you think of others? What do bad leaderships do? Here is a funny video on leaderships that kill leadership and organizations. Now that we have defined what is leadership, identified the qualities of a good leader, great leader, lousy bad leader, here are some questions I would pose to you and my students for discussion as teams or individually on the online learning management system. I'm going to give you a few minutes to think about it and you're welcome to share your thoughts. Are leaders born? A popular saying, he/she is a born leader. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Please explain or support your answer. The answer to this question is yes and no. A person can be a born leader. However, just because he/she is a son or daughter of a leader does not make them a great leader. Then there's a saying, like father, like son. Most often we see in companies when the CEO or president retires or dies, his or her son, daughter takes over the company, and the same can be seen in political parties across the globe. This is easily accepted by most societies today. This debatable question is addressed again by Goleman in the Harvard Business Review article which is in your folder. He mentions that scientific evidence indicates that emotional intelligence has a genetic component and that emotional intelligence is passed on from one generation to the next and increases with age. How about can leaders be made? Please explain. Yes, leaders can be made. There are numerous examples even in current day how future leaders have risen, fallen and are trained into positions of power to lead a country or a company. For example, from recent stories in the news, the North Korean leader's son was trained for a year under his uncle and father. After his father died, the world and North Korea expected the North Korean leader's son to take over the helm. The following video also supports this viewpoint. Can you and I develop leadership skills? Please explain. Yes, every one of us can develop and or improve our leadership abilities skills. I will go into this in the later part of my lecture presentation. How about does a leader always have a formal title? No, there are always leaders everywhere in any organization, at school or at work, at home, at places of worship. These persons may not have a fancy formal title, example President or Prime Minister, and they are known as informal leaders, who have a very important role in that day-to-day operations of a business, organization, or country. These informal leaders play different roles in an organization. So what are some common roles a leader can play in an organization or a team environment? Some common roles a leader can play include the following. Subject matter expert, the expert on the topic or discipline. The leader can be an inspector, that is, he/she checks the quality of the product, project, or program. The leader can be an administrator or manager managing the everyday operations of the project or program. A leader can be a team builder, where he/she develops a team and leads them to a successful completion of the task or project at hand. A leader can play the role of a coordinator, collecting information, collating, and distributing it to the concerned persons. The leader can also play a role of the go-to person, the second in line who knows everything about the project or the program in the event the subject matter expert is ill or unable to do his or her duties. Then there's the planner, the cheerleader, the critic, the ideas person, and the implementer. So we can see that the leader can play several roles and wear different hats. Is leadership and management the same thing? Are leaders and managers the same? If they are different, what is the difference between a leader and a manager? Here are the differences highlighted in the table on the slide in front of you. It is from a commonly cited source in management literature by Warren Bennis from his 1989 book on becoming a leader, taken from the Wall Street Journal online article, What is the difference between management and leadership? A leader innovates, whereas a manager administers. Leaders are original, while a manager copies others' ideas, documents, protocol, etc. A leader develops his or her staff. A manager maintains the existing system. That leads us into the next point. A leader focuses on people, whereas a manager focuses on systems, structures, and processes. A leader inspires trust, while a manager relies on control. A good leader has long-range perspective. That is, he/she not only looks at the short term, but also has long-term goals. Perspectives unlike a manager who has only the short-range view. A leader asks what and why, while a manager asks how and when. A leader's eye is on the horizon, looks to the future, while a manager's eye is on the bottom line. Focus is only on the present, today, getting things done, completed, making money. As stated earlier, a leader originates, that is, creates original work, while a manager imitates others. The leader is his own person, that is, he/she is self-made. However, a manager is a classic good soldier. While a manager does things right, a leader does the right thing. Finally, a leader challenges the status quo. However, a manager accepts the status quo. The link to this article is given below. Now I'm going to give you a brief overview of some of the common leadership theories in management literature. The three most common ones are trait theories, style theories, and contingency theories. Trait theories rest on the assumption that the individual is more important than the situation. Style theories rest on the assumption that the leadership style of the leader is more important than the situation. And finally, the contingency theories, they take into account other variables in any leadership situation, in particular the task and of the work group, and the position of the leader within that work group. Out of these three theories, contingency theories are the most important, as several types of leadership are derived from these theories. We will review the contingency theories in more detail in the next slide. Contingency theories are divided into three groups. The first one is feedless contingency theory. Three styles of leadership were identified. A. Relationship motivated, human relations leadership style. B. Task directed, hard-nosed leadership style. C. Choice of task relationship style. There is no one best style, and neither task directed or relationship motivated styles were better than one another. Then number 2 is house path goal theory. He identifies four styles of leadership. The first one, A, is leader directiveness. This means letting subordinates know what is expected of them, saying what should be done and how, clearly defining the role of the leader, then maintaining the standards of performance and work scheduling. B is leader supportiveness, that is, being interpersonally aware of the needs of others, treating group members as equals, being friendly and approachable. The next one is C, leader achievement orientedness. Setting goals which are challenging, continuously seeking performance improvements.